SpaceX's Starship spacecraft destroyed during massive rocket launch. On Thursday, SpaceX conducted its highly anticipated seventh test flight of the Super Heavy-Starship rocket, a significant milestone for the private aerospace company. The test flight was marked by both a successful and a devastating outcome. The massive Super Heavy booster, which provides the necessary thrust for the Starship spacecraft, successfully returned to its launch stand after separation. However, the Starship upper stage spacecraft, which was the focus of the flight, met a tragic end. The spacecraft reportedly broke apart as it was reaching space, leading to a catastrophic failure that resulted in significant debris falling into the Atlantic Ocean. This debris scattered over a wide area and briefly disrupted air traffic in and around Miami, Florida, according to federal officials. The Super Heavy Starship rocket is considered one of the most powerful rockets ever built, and its launch from SpaceX's Gulf Coast facility in Boca Chica, Texas, on January 16, 2025, was a momentous event for the company and the broader space industry. However, despite the immense power and advanced engineering of the rocket, the flight did not proceed as planned. Just 8 minutes and 27 seconds after the launch, telemetry data from the Starship spacecraft unexpectedly froze, signaling that something had gone terribly wrong with the flight. The loss of communication, combined with the failure of critical engine systems, strongly suggested that there had been a major anomaly with the upper stage spacecraft. SpaceX responded to the failure with a mix of candidness and humor. In a statement posted on the social media platform X, the company confirmed that the Starship had been destroyed. The company's description of the failure was somewhat tongue-in-cheek, as they referred to the incident as a rapid, unscheduled disassembly that occurred during the spacecraft's ascent. This was a playful reference to the fact that the spacecraft disintegrated during its attempt to reach space, a process that is technically called an explosive failure. SpaceX assured the public that it would continue reviewing the data from the flight to better understand the root cause of the failure. The company emphasized that even though this test flight was not successful, it still provided valuable lessons that would help improve the reliability and safety of Starship and future missions. The Super Heavy Starship rocket, which is an impressive feat of engineering, stands as the most powerful rocket ever built by any private company. It is designed to carry humans and cargo to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. On this particular test flight, the rocket fired up 33 Raptor engines that burned methane, generating a mind-boggling 16 million pounds of thrust. This immense power allowed the rocket to lift off from the ground and climb rapidly into the atmosphere. As it soared into the sky, a trail of fiery exhaust could be seen for miles around, a stunning visual reminder of the raw power required to propel the spacecraft into space. Unfortunately, while the first stage booster experienced a successful return to the launch pad, signaling a positive aspect of the mission, the upper stage failed to achieve its goal. A commentator from SpaceX, speaking live during the launch, conveyed the unfortunate news to the audience. "We've lost all communication with the ship," indicating that something had gone wrong with the upper stage Starship. The commentator continued, confirming the spacecraft's destruction shortly afterward. "We've lost the upper stage." This statement confirmed that the test flight had ended in disaster for the spacecraft. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, also provided an update on the situation, noting that the flight's failure led to air traffic delays in the Miami area. According to the FAA, airlines operating out of Miami International and Fort Lauderdale Hollywood international airports experienced delays of up to an hour due to what was described as a rocket launch anomaly. The FAA took immediate action to mitigate the risks posed by falling debris from the spacecraft. It reported that aircraft were temporarily slowed down and diverted around the area where the SpaceX Starship debris was falling. Thankfully, the FAA confirmed that normal operations resumed shortly after the debris had settled. In its follow-up statement, the FAA acknowledged the anomaly that occurred during the Starship Flight 7 mission, which had launched from Boca Chica, Texas, on January 16th. The FAA added that it was closely assessing the situation, including reviewing the flight's data and any potential safety implications. Meanwhile, the public also received updates from social media. Verified videos, including those shared by CBS News, showed footage of the debris falling from the spacecraft and landing in the Caribbean near the Turks and Caicos Islands. This footage offered a visual representation of the extent of the damage caused by the spacecraft's breakup. The falling debris created an eerie spectacle over the vast expanse of the ocean, with pieces of the Starship spacecraft scattering in all directions. SpaceX's billionaire owner, Elon Musk, provided additional context for the failure in a post on his social media platform X. Musk offered a preliminary assessment of the situation, stating, "Preliminary indications suggest that we had an oxygen fuel leak in the cavity above the ship's engine firewall. This leak may have been large enough to build up pressure that exceeded the venting capacity." Musk went on to explain that SpaceX would take measures to address this issue by double-checking for any leaks and adding fire suppression systems to the affected area. The company would also consider increasing the size of the vent area to prevent a similar failure from happening in the future. In a formal statement, SpaceX added that initial data from the flight indicated that a fire had likely developed in the aft section of the spacecraft, eventually causing the rapid unscheduled disassembly. The term unscheduled disassembly is a euphemistic way of describing the catastrophic breakup of the spacecraft, which resulted in the falling debris. This debris, which had been ejected from the spacecraft after its failure, fell into the Atlantic Ocean within areas that had been pre-designated as hazard zones by the company. SpaceX urged anyone who might come across debris from the Starship to contact local authorities or call the company's debris hotline at 1-866-623-0034. Despite the failure, SpaceX remains focused on learning from the experience and using the data gathered from the flight to continue improving Starship. The company's bold ambitions of sending humans to the Moon and Mars will depend on its ability to make Starship a reliable, reusable spacecraft. The lessons learned from this test flight, even in the face of failure, will undoubtedly contribute to the refinement and eventual success of future missions. The gargantuan Super Heavy-Starship rocket had been launched from SpaceX's Boca Chica facility at precisely 5:37 p.m. Eastern Time. As the rocket launched, the 33 methane-burning Raptor engines provided immense power, consuming 40,000 pounds of propellant every second. The launch was an impressive display of human ingenuity, as the booster gracefully arced away from the launch stand and began its ascent into the sky. The bright, flaming exhaust visible for miles around signified the massive energy being released in the effort to reach space. While the outcome was not as hoped, the test flight provided valuable insight into the complexities of space travel, reinforcing SpaceX's commitment to refining Starship's technology for future missions. Although the Starship upper stage was destroyed, the company remains resolute in its mission to develop a spacecraft capable of revolutionizing space exploration.